laddies, my name is Jacksepticeye and welcome to a game called The Monster Inside, an audiovisual novella by Random Seed Games. This is like a film noir type of thing. Apparently it's not very long, it's only like 20 minutes long. And it's a film noir story that I get to play out, and it's free to play. So you can actually go play this yourselves right now. You don't need anything, you just need a Steam account and a little old computeroo. I don't even know if you need a Steam account for... I don't fucking know. I was gonna play this a few days ago when I saw it pop up on Steam, but the anti stuff was going on, and I didn't want people to think, because I was gonna do this right after the anti stuff, and I didn't want people to think this was part of that. I wanted to let that kind of sit for a minute and then come back to this, because The Monster Inside sounds a lot like that stuff. Maybe I should have, if only it came out before the anti stuff went on, it would have been perfect. So let's get in and play. I like the style of it, I like the music, I like film noir stuff. My head pounded, ears still ringing slightly. Some of the worst nightmares I'd had in years left me feeling like I'd been punched in the jaw. But just like any other day, I dragged myself to the office. I'm giving it that voice because it sounds like 1950s, 20s New York. Is that Booker DeWitt's office? There was another notice on the door from the Mayor Vanetti's office. Permits out of date. They didn't like me much and they were trying to drown me in paperwork. It was a slow month. Weeks since I'd had any real case to work on. So I'd passed the time pacing the office, smoking and staring at the mirror in the corner, safely covered with an old bedsheet. Why do you need the mirror covered in the bedsheet? I don't dare look at my own reflection. I'm too afraid of what I might see. Afraid someday I might have to face what I really am. The girl came in so quiet, I nearly choked on my cigarette. Mister, please. You gotta help me, mister. Calm down now. Sit and talk slow. Okay, thanks. It's just, no one will listen to me. Just tell me a tale. I'm listening. She eyed me with just a dash of suspicion as I tossed back a handful of pills and chased them with a swig of whiskey. I could tell this might take a while. You know what I should do? I should talk in this voice all the time. She eyed me with a dash of suspicion as I tossed back a handful of pills and chased them with a swig of whiskey. I could tell this might take a while. You know, make it really sound old like I'm talking through a radio. Her name was Lily. She told me she was his mistress, the man all over the newspapers, the infamous banker, Mr. Reginald Farnsworth. Farnsworth, eh? Mr. Farnsworth was a professor in Futurama, but he was also a drunk, philandering bastard. But this girl seemed genuinely concerned that he had recently gone missing. Less concerned about the fact that Mr. Farnsworth's wife had just turned up dead in Central Park 2 nights ago. You don't understand. He just couldn't have done it. He hated his wife, but he couldn't have killed her. Everyone thinks it was him, and no one believes me. He's gotta be in trouble. It was a demon! Gotta get those fucking Winchesters down here to deal with this. I ain't saying I believe you. What makes you think he's in danger? Well, mister... It was you! You did it! It actually called me Jack! Wait! Is his name actually Jack in the game and this is just a really happy coincidence? Because if so, bingo bango! Or does the name actually find something on your computer and be like, hey, you're Jack, right? Because that's kind of creepy, and the game doesn't ask for any permissions, so I think his name's just Jack. Jack. Whoever did that to his wife must have been the one who took him. He would have never left without me. He promised me. I'm sure Mr. Farnsworth promised this poor girl a lot of things. Please, the cops won't listen to me and they want to bring him in on charges. You gotta prove it wasn't him before they find him. Honestly, I doubt they are in too much of a hurry. Farnsworth had practically the entire police force in his deep pockets. Probably why they hadn't found much yet. If they found him then brought him in, it would be due to public pressure. Sometimes a mob with pitchforks is more dangerous than one with money. You've got my curiosity, but you might not like what I find. I can help you. We'll get to the bottom of it, don't you worry now. Music's awesome. The whole vibe of this is awesome. Well, thank you, Mr. Jack. Thank you. But please, be careful. I don't think it was just any murderer or kidnapper. I think it was a beast. It was a fucking demon. What kind of demon drags men out? What kind of demon kills wives and attracts men? Sirens or succubi? Beast. Ah, the word struck me funny. Like when you jaw your elbow in a hard corner. Sure hurts bad. Not a word many use these days, except in hush whispers. Husband on the brain, you see, and bedtime stories for children. Oh, they were real enough, all right. They just got better at hiding, controlling their unseemly urges. But I hadn't seen any monsters in nearly 15 years, back when I still a cop myself. Okay, they could be just talking about actual, like, people who are really horrible and they're calling them beasts and monsters. A really hairy man. He's a beast. Well, that's definitely an interesting theory. I can help you. We'll get to the bottom of it, don't you worry. I already said this, but you know what? I'm kind of like a parrot. I repeat words sometimes because I'm kind of like a parrot and I repeat words sometimes. Leave the detective work to me. Let's not jump to any conclusions here. Yeah, this one. That's the one. I just have a feeling about it. Something tells me you can get to the bottom of it. You're good at this sort of thing. Sure. Can't you see how busy I am with cases? Also how sassy I am? Haha, bazinga. I replied a little too harshly. Sarcasm wasn't my strong suit. I reassured her some more and sent her on her way. I didn't want to scare her, but I warned her before she left to keep her doors locked and call me if she saw anything suspicious. This reminds me of the Whose Line Is It Anyway? Where Ryan and Colin always do the film war kind of like monologues. It's like, hey there, haven't seen you in years. And then he turns to the camera, it's like, I had seen him in years. Actually, I just saw him yesterday. He was putting on his wife's clothes. And then they go back to talking again, and then they monologue to the camera. Oh, I love that so much. I didn't know if she was in any danger herself, but better safe than sorry. That night, I made my way down to Central Park. It was a long shot, but maybe there was something there the cops had missed. Next chapter. How many chapters are there? This scene was already picked clean by the cops days ago, but I've got a knack for finding things that others overlook. Aha! Such a nice style, the kind of poly art. A knack, more of a symptom of a condition. Other, less useful symptoms. I kept in check, but for the time being, my keen sense of smell would come in handy. Like a bloodhound. That's why they call me old Bloody. Bloodhoundy. That's my name back at the force. It was faint, but I could smell it. Before I even approached the police line. The scent was less of a thing and more of an emotion. Isn't that like synesthesia? Seduction. A strangely familiar smell. I expected the scent of trepidation, fear, or maybe even outright fear, but it's fucking very similar things. But Mrs. Farnsworth seemed to have been at the height of pleasure when she left this world. Brought new meaning to crime of passion. Should write that one down and tell it to the boys back in the force. Pushing the thought from my mind, it was time to get down to business. Investigate the scene. Oh, I actually can interact. Nice. Claw marks. It was Wolverine. Okay, a burn mark. A burn mark on a nearby tree caught my eye. I ran my finger along its length and felt a chill down my spine. Probably shouldn't be eating ice cream while I'm on the scene. This wasn't just any burn mark. This was the mark of an ancient magic. It's doubtful the cops would have picked up on it, but Lily might have been right. Something unnatural was at play here. Are we actually talking about monsters? I mean, I know it's called a monster inside, but I thought it was like, oh, I'm a nice guy, but I killed this man. Now I'm a monster. But I was no stranger to the strange. Muddy footprints everywhere. Difficult to pick out anything from the prints the cops left behind on their haste. But cops don't wear $2,000 pairs of Carquinos. I don't know what carcinos are, Mr. Detective Man. It looked like Mr. Farnsworth was there that night and walked away on his own 2 feet. Ah! He had a pair of shoes on him, I see. After looking around for a while longer, I realized the park had given up all it was hiding from me. So I trudged back to my apartment, and my head hit the pillow like it owed me money. Give me money, pillow! The next morning, I was reeling from another bout of ghoulish nightmares, but I tried to hide my discomfort when I saw Lily was already sitting outside my office. She waited wordlessly as I unlocked the door and ripped down another notice from the mayor's office. I motioned for her to step inside. Seemingly afraid of what I might say, she finally worked up the courage to ask. So, what did you find? Well, I've got some good news. Farnsworth might still be alive. I'm not sure about beasts, but something unnatural was at play. Might be right to worry about monsters. Found a spells mark. What does that mean? What about Reggie? Do you know where he might be? There were signs he was at the scene and slipped away. My tone was indifferent towards her as I turned and grabbed a bottle from a desk drawer. The dryness in my throat made it difficult to swallow my meds. But you don't know where he went? Do you think the news this morning is related? What news is that? Haven't you heard? Nope, rough night followed by a rough morning. I'm a rough guy, you should get used to it. I'm a ruffian. They found the police chief's wife dead down by the docks. They say it happened last night. Let me guess, Chief Amato is missing too. My face might have betrayed a hint of satisfaction as she confirmed my suspicions, but it faded quickly. Amato was a shit cop and a shit chief. He was half the reason I left the force, but now his wife was dead and I had more questions than I had the day before. The gears in my head started to spin, which wasn't helped by the splitting pain at my temples. I told Lily I needed to work and she left slightly dejected. Wanted more answers than I could provide. That night after the cops had cleared the bubble in my throat, cleared out of the docks, I would slip down and see what I could uncover concerning Mrs. Amato's untimely demise. Next chapter! The cold air smells strongly of salt and oil and... Could it be? And that smell again. Like someone had bottled pure aerosol and used it as perfume. Pure arousal. Did I really just say aerosol? I said arousal in my head and aerosol came out of my mouth. It hit me like a long forgotten memory, but the sensual fumes soon gave way to a rush of adrenaline. I knew exactly what the scent reminded me of. Aerosol. And that scared me more than not knowing. I looked down at my hands, shaking. The nightmares, the headaches. What if I did it? No, I was better now, reformed. I had to focus, don't jump into conclusions, follow the evidence. Red Phoenix cigarettes. Same shitty brand I smoke every day. Everyone's got their vice. There, just there. Smallest piece of purple fabric, torn and caught in the splinter of a board. The police report didn't say anything about Mrs. Amato wearing purple, and it was certainly of a quality that you wouldn't expect down here. Don't get too many high society types around flaunting real perfume threads. I pulled out my own pack of reds and lit up. I could already feel another headache coming on, but looking out over the waves seemed to help me forget. The cold helped me push down the uncomfortable thoughts that have been bubbling to the top of my brain. Maybe that's why I'm fucking reading shit wrong. I honestly don't remember the walk back to the office. Apparently I spent the night in my easy chair. The air from the docks lingered on my clothes. It was still dark out. No, I checked the clock. How long had I been out? Had I already slept through the entire next day? Maybe he blacks out and kills people. A newspaper was sitting... That's why he can't look at his reflection. He's a demon. Sitting under the door. As I stood to fetch it, it nearly fell over. I nearly fell over. A wave of nausea hit me like a ton of bricks. Steadied myself and regained my composure. Before I even picked up the paper, I could already read the headline. Breaking. Mayor missing. Wife found dead. 2 cases in a coincidence? 2 cases is a coincidence. 3 is a pattern. The cops will come asking questions soon. They knew I had a history of antagonizing all the victims. I stumbled to my desk and slammed back 3 days worth of inhibitor pills. Couldn't take any chances. Had to investigate the scene to be sure. I threw on my jacket and went to the door. Lily caught me off guard on the other side.
Jack, where are you off to? I've been trying to reach you all day.
Just been busy. I'm off to Mrs. Vanetti's crime scene.
Okay, but we need to talk when you get back. Stay safe.
She gave me a soft kiss on the cheek as I rushed off. Part of me wanted to stay and tell her it would be okay, but it would be a lie. So, is this like the Wolf Among Us kind of rules, where there's lots of people hiding in plain sight, being monsters? They have inhibitor pills? The music changed. I smell aerosol. The alley was located just behind the high-rise apartments where Mayor Vanetti and his wife lived. And I could tell the police was spooked now. Crime scene was even sloppier than the last. But they hadn't even bothered to submit the trash into evidence. Why wouldn't they at least look through the dumpster? It seemed untouched. No one wants to do the dirty work. But I know how to find the good stuff. It really doesn't take long if you know what to look for. Lightweight bags usually mean someone was dumping documents. If you were lucky enough, they didn't bother to shred them. Jackpot. Shell companies, shady stock trades, bribes. I knew Mayor Vanetti was crooked, but this was unbelievable. And there was more. Letters between Mayor Vanetti and Chief Amato. Talking about me. How they were trying to get me to shut down. They didn't like me snooping around crime scenes all the time. Well, they weren't here to stop me snooping around this one. 'Cause they're dead! Vanetti's car. If he's still alive, why wouldn't he have left it in his car? Why wouldn't he have left in his car? It didn't make any sense. I honestly wasn't too motivated to find him, but the stakes were too high, and my bet was edging towards the unthinkable. As I searched around for anything that might assuage my fears, I caught that scent again. It overwhelmed my other senses with undulating pleasure. It was intoxicating. A weapon used in the weak-willed. A weapon I knew all too well. Thought it had been many years since I had used it, though it had been many years. Was there another like me? Was I being framed? It wasn't possible. Was it? When I was taking my inhibitors, I was reformed. But the nightmares, the headaches, the memory lapses, I couldn't even trust myself. I started walking back to the alley when something shiny caught my eye. A watch. Not just any watch, though. My watch. How long had my wrist been bare? Surely I just dropped it when I first came down the alley. I checked the time just before I left the office, didn't I? But I used a wall clock. I couldn't be sure. I couldn't be sure of anything. So I ran. It is him! This is fucking awesome. I like this. I don't know why I ran back to the office. The cops would probably show up any minute to knock down the door and cart me away. They would put it together before long. Maybe it would be best for everyone if I simply faced my own reflection. But Lily was still there, waiting for me.
Jack, what's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost.
My own ghost, come back to haunt me from the past.
You're not making any sense, Jack. Come back. Come, I can't remember what you said. Sit down.
You don't understand. You're not safe around me. I took a good last look at her as I was prepared to shove her out the door. I noticed she was wearing the same things she had when she first came to my office 3 days ago. Purple? A beautiful purple dress. Odd that I hadn't really noticed before, but it made her seem out of place, out of time. And it was frayed around the edges, torn in places. My chair caught my fall as my knees failed me. It was you! You're the monster! Succubus! I fucking said it at the start! A siren or a succubus that lure men in! Oh yeah!
Oh, Jack. We are one and the same, you and I. We are both monsters. I'm simply more honest with myself. There's no such thing as reformation. Those pills you take only make you dull. Beasts like us should never suppress our true natures, as you have, incubus.
Those men were probably dead too now, I figured. She probably took them to her lair and harvested their seed. So, you've done all this just to wake me up?
You could say that, though it seemed enough just to have you doubt yourself. You believed you were still capable of such horrors, which means deep down you probably are. You can't escape it. Now I need you to complete the deed.
You took my watch, messed with my head.
Oh, don't act like I didn't do you a favor. Those men hated you and wanted you gone, and now they are gone.
I mustered the strength to stand again, moving casually to the window by the corner. She was right about one thing. I was dull, weak compared to her. If I refused her and she attacked me, I was a dead man. I had to keep her talking. I've never met a succubus who seduces and kills women.
Oh, please, such a 14th century stereotype. I don't discriminate when it comes to the pleasures of the flesh. But I do still need an incubus like yourself to take the tainted seed I've harvested from those awful men and plant it among the fertile masses for me. I'm tired of draining my lovers just to survive. I'm ready to settle down and start a family.
That maniacal laughter. I positioned myself carefully, making sure she was looking in my direction. Sorry, bud. I'm not your guy. With a flick of my wrist, I whipped the old bedsheet off the corner mirror. Lily was blinded by her own reflection and sucked into the mirror with a painful, monstrous scream. Trapped. Shielding my own eyes, I pulled a revolver from my desk drawer and aimed it at the mirror. And fired! You did it, Jack! You fucking did it! Oh, that was awesome! Such a fun little game! Whoa. More from Random Seed Games. Lacuna Passage. Explore the vast terrains of Mars generated from real NASA satellite data and survive by discovering randomized supply caches and habitats. Adventure in an otherworldly first-person sandbox, or time is relatives. Sometimes 10 seconds can feel like an eternity. In time frame, you will discover a world in slow motion. Explore the remnants of a mysterious civilization on the brink of destruction. This one sounds awesome! I do like the sound of this one, but this one sounds really good. Nice! Okay, well that was The Monster Inside. I mean, kind of predictable in some regards. It follows very stereotypical tropes and cliches, but the style of it was really good. The music was my favorite part of it. Very film noir. And I love like if you think of something like Sin City, it's that kind of vibe to it. Like monologuing in your head and then speaking to the characters very infrequently kind of stuff. Really like that. Super cool. I bravo to the developers for this game. Again, it wasn't very long and there wasn't a whole lot to it, but I had a lot of fun with it. Hopefully you guys liked it as well. If you did, punch the like button in the face! Like a boss! And
High fives all right.
whoosh, whoosh. Thank you guys, and I will see all you dudes to the next video!
It was the demon!